Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screen.
America is at one of the most critical turning points in her history. The only way we will save our republic is if the American people stand up and take action, and the conservative movement goes on offense. That's why we established the Innovation Prizes in 2022, to recognize innovative projects, strategies, and policy solutions of organizations that are ensuring the future of American self-governance. The prizes are not just about a nice plaque. They are about serving the movement and uniting conservatives, particularly outside the Beltway, to defeat the destructive ideology and designs of the radical left. And our winning organizations have done just that.
We had just stumbled upon this crazy thing called ESG. And so we decided, well, who should we turn to but one of the great organizational leaders in the conservative movement, the Heritage Foundation. And we had the opportunity to work with Heritage because we wanted to innovate. And so when the Innovation Prize opportunity came along, we had to take it. We were one of the inaugural winners, and it's been incredibly impactful for us. We were able to get more grants. Candidly, it doubled the opportunity for us to raise revenue.
The Innovation Prize was just a tremendous boost to the whole topic of standing up for women's rights and making this a priority for our organization. The executive order that President Trump signed on day one of his administration to define words like woman and man and male and female had its roots in the model legislation that we wrote and that Heritage recognized and really helped us move forward. It is a direct result of the work that we did and the prize that Heritage has given us.
We wanted to do this index to measure corporations on their respect for free speech and religious freedom and use that as a vector to try to drive change. And Heritage came in at that first year of development and granted us a $100,000 award to fuel that effort. The best thing is this program has continued on. We're now about to launch year 4 of our index. So your investment, is not for just a one-year project, but is for a project that's been having impact year over year.
The advice I'd give to this year's Innovation Prize winners is actually twofold. One, take full advantage of the resources and the personnel that Heritage has. There's some incredibly talented, incredibly smart people. But the second thing I'd say is build relationships with us, other people who have won the prize. We are values aligned. And as Kevin talks about a lot, we need to cohere the movement. We need to work together.
The conservative community recognizes what a leader Heritage is. So when you tell them you've been given an award from the Heritage Foundation and recognized for innovation, it makes people stand up and take notice and think, oh, okay, this is a project that's probably going to have some legs and can do some real good.
We're, I think, at a really unique moment culturally and politically that requires bold leadership. And that's why I love the Innovation Prize, because it's trying to seek out and find those conservative leaders who are pushing the envelope and trying to drive real and lasting change.
Innovation is the secret weapon of the conservative movement. As we have for more than 5 decades, Heritage is focused not just on winning policy fights here behind enemy lines in Washington, but helping the movement take the battle to the left throughout the country as we fight to save America's future.
Please welcome Heritage Foundation Executive Vice President Derek Morgan.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to the Heritage Foundation. If you are a friend of freedom and self-government, you will always have a home here at Heritage. It's great to see so many friends here tonight. We at Heritage want families to form, to flourish, and to build a healthy society. We want an economy of opportunity so that you can find your calling, so you can benefit your family and your neighbors. And we want a military that's so lethal that it never has to be used. All of this so that we can be self-governing people, free to do what is right. Conservatism is a disposition that values the accumulated wisdom of past generations, believing that the effective policy and institutions emerge through an ongoing dialogue between tradition and today's circumstances, rather than through abstract theoretical schemes. In a very real way, Heritage is all about transmitting values to the next generation. Our founder, Ed Fulner, liked to say, without a heritage, every generation starts over. He also emphasized that we have to add and multiply in our movement, not divide and subtract. We at Heritage constantly work on 3 time horizons. First, the short term, the figurative, I stress that for any friends in the media, figurative knife fights on policy in DC and around the country. In the medium term, educating for the next inflection point when the people, our sovereign, will speak. All the while, we must be constantly prepared for if the people do decide to entrust conservatives with power. There was a little project we worked on last year you may have heard about. Project 2025 was all about. And the long term, we work to shape the movement and to pass along that heritage that we just talked about. And that brings me to today. Our board and our new then president, Kevin Roberts, started the Innovation Prizes. Our winners this year, as in previous years, span from very policy-focused and short-term focused and involved in those knife fights, to some of those that are looking to educate, to those that maybe aren't engaged in policy at all, but are very actively building civil society. We're grateful for each one and the role that they play in saving our country. Only by working together can we secure self-government. Our winners are innovators. They try new things. They exercise self-government in their own ways. They fight the Leviathan and the spirit of the age. Some have just started. Others are in the growth phase. Many noticed a gap in the lines and stepped forward to fill it. A couple reached back in time and were inspired to start something beautiful. Some have been careful about what they can share publicly. They are just that feared and villainized by the left or even some of our enemies abroad. So we're excited to introduce each of them to our friends. Many of you are here tonight. And since we live by two Ed Fulner maxims, to add and multiply our movement and to pass along our nation stronger to the next generation, it's very fitting for me to introduce to you, to award the prizes, the executive director of the Edwin J. Fulner Institute here at Heritage. Please welcome Bridget Wagner.
Thank you, Derek. And thank you all for joining us on this very special day to recognize and celebrate the 2025 Innovation Prize winners. Since the launch of the Innovation Prizes in 2022, we've awarded 23 prizes and $3 million in grants to a really outstanding group of organizations who are engaged in agenda-setting research, hard-hitting oversight projects, and critical litigation and creative outreach and education efforts that empower parents to make their own education choices, secure our borders and reduce crime, ensure free and fair elections, reduce the growth of government spending and inflation, counter the threat of communist China, hold big tech accountable, protect unborn life and family formation, restore American wellness, unleash American energy, and meaningfully advance the good life. And we've been so excited to recognize a number of really outstanding leadership development programs that are expanding and strengthening the conservative movement. This year, we received more than 100 applications for this fifth round of the prizes. We want to thank all the applicants for sharing their projects. I have to say, it was a very difficult decision. It was an incredibly strong pool of applications that we received. After careful consideration of the materials presented by each applicant, our panel of policy and outreach experts helped to narrow the field, and the prize committee selected 11 winners this year that we're very pleased to introduce to you this evening. We are excited, so let's begin. We're excited to award an Innovation Prize and $100,000 to the American College of Pediatricians, or ACPEDS, an organization whose mission is for all children to reach their optimal physical and emotional health and well-being by promoting parental responsibility and the traditional family unit and ethical practices founded in biological reality. ACPEDS advocates for child-centered policies prioritizing enduring moral and scientific truths over shifting ideological or political trends. The 2025 Innovation Prize is being presented to them for their project, Doctor, Heal Thyself, a bold initiative to rescue doctors and the American Academy of Pediatrics from ideology. Through this education and recruitment campaign, ACPEDS will confront the harmful influence of gender ideology that has infiltrated major once trusted medical institutions. They'll also expand their legal advocacy efforts and grow their membership, and in the process, protect and advance the best interest of children and families. We're joined this evening by Dr. Jill Simon, Executive Director of the American College of Pediatricians.
All right, I was told to keep this a minute. It's about a minute 10, but as my boys will say, if you round, it's a minute. So, so I am beyond grateful to Heritage and honored to accept this award on behalf of the American College of Pediatricians. I'm humbled by the greatness in this room and the incredible work being done by my fellow recipients. I want to thank all of my colleagues and staff at AC Peds, Dr. Mike Artigues, Dr. Jane Anderson, our fearless president and vice president, Dr. Tom Benton, one of the founders who's here tonight of AC Peds, all the way from Florida. Also here, Dr. Susan Ashton, a brave pediatrician member who says yes every time I call her, and the entire AC Peds board and staff. A few others in attendance this evening, Jean Scher, who is skillfully guiding us through the expanding role we are playing in the legal realm, Emmett McGrody from Belmont Abbey, and last but not least, Arena Agnew, whose ability to transform our vision into amazing projects like the Doctors Protecting Children Declaration that went viral, and this project. And as of midnight last night, she put together a brand new acpeds.org website to match our bold new mission. Heritage has been such a friend to AC Peds, Roger, Jay, Bridget, and Bridget. I'm beyond grateful for all of your support and encouragement. I'll never forget the words spoken once by Roger Severino during a really difficult time for us. He said, "Don't worry, the Calvary is here." And indeed, Heritage, thank you for believing in us and supporting us so that together we can do great things to protect and care for the children of this great country. Thank you.
Next. We're pleased to award an innovation prize and $50,000 to the American Reformer and its Center for Academic Faithfulness and Flourishing, or CAF, for its CAF College Guide. American Reformer's mission of promoting a Christian approach to the cultural challenges in the political and social realm equips campus leaders with resources to resist unbiblical ideologies, strengthen institutional governance, improve financial stability, and build networks of like-minded partners, working directly with college administrators to build accurate profiles that showcase each school's unique features. CAF allows families to identify schools that have stuck to their faith commitment. The CAF College Guide connects faithful students with faithful colleges, building a K-12 pipeline for conservative Christian students. And in the process, they're supporting a vision of education that forms the individual for faithful service in the church, the academy, and public life. Tonight, we're joined by Jesse Ryan, Executive Director of the Center for Academic Faithfulness and Flourishing. Jesse?
Choosing a college is one of the most consequential decisions that a young person will make. But the advance of radical ideologies throughout the American Academy means that we can no longer assume that legacy institutions are trustworthy options. The CAF College Guide was created to address this problem by providing independently verified, objectively measured, comprehensive, and relevant information on over 250 Christian colleges and universities throughout the country. ChristianCollegeGuide.com is a free online directory that equips users to make apples-to-apples comparisons for the college traits that matter most. And this empowers families to make informed and confident educational decisions. I want to thank Bridget Wagner and her team here at Heritage for their generous support, which will enable us to expand the guide's offerings and ensure that this resource remains free to the public. I also want to recognize Nate Fisher and Josh Abatoy, co-founder and executive director of American Reformer, whose visionary leadership and principled commitments have made this work possible. Thank you.
Next up, we're proud to award an innovation prize and $100,000 to the Ben Franklin Fellowship for its Junto outreach project. The Ben Franklin Fellowship advances a constitutionally grounded U.S. foreign policy prioritizing American sovereignty, secure borders, and fiscal responsibility. And it seeks to restore realism in diplomacy by rejecting ideological conformity and promoting merit-based hiring and advancement. Through initiatives like this outreach project, the Ben Franklin Fellowship is working to revitalize the State Department by challenging entrenched bureaucratic norms, championing the national interest, reestablishing accountability and competence in international engagement, and in the process, producing a new generation of diplomats committed to an America First vision. Through forums, events, and professional networks, the fellowship is a platform for advancing policies that serve the American people. We're joined tonight by Philip Linderman, chairman of the Ben Franklin Fellowship.
First of all, I would like to accept this great award in the name of the entire organization of the Ben Franklin Fellowship. It is an enterprise of many people in the State Department, mostly in the State Department, some other foreign policy practitioners as well. And it is a group effort that is long overdue, in our modest judgment, in Foggy Bottom. Having been a lifetime conservative, and both a lifetime conservative and a foreign service officer for more than 30 years, I deeply understand why the Heritage Foundation would want to support the goals of the Ben Franklin Fellowship. We are encouraged in our first year as literally several hundred foreign service officers and civil service officers and other employees in the State Department have come into our organization and are lifting a new vision of what U.S. foreign policy should be. But there's much to be done. I'll leave you with just one brief example. A month ago, there was another public letter from about 200 retired career diplomats and national security officials denouncing the current administration for its, quote, assault on American democracy. They claim that the moral foundations, quote unquote, of the country are now in grave danger. They claim that the Trump administration has assaulted the pillars of our democracy here at home and the strength around the world, our strength around the world. They claim that the mindset of the administration is leading, quote, to the erasure of history and national heroes at our cultural institutions. Again, most of those who signed this public letter were senior officials from the career ranks of the foreign affairs bureaucracy. This over-the-top rhetoric fundamentally calls into question the basic values of many Americans who serve in career leadership positions in our foreign policy establishment. And that, I suggest, is why we very much thank the Heritage Foundation for the support, and I think we all know what we need to do. Thank you.
Next, we are excited to award Do No Harm with an Innovation Prize and a $75,000 grant for its project, Exposing and Fighting DEI in American Medical Schools. Do No Harm represents healthcare professionals, students, patients, and policymakers dedicated to preserving science-based, unbiased medical care. They oppose the politicization of medicine and the injection of identity politics into medical education, research, and clinical practice. And they're challenging youth-focused gender ideology which threatens medical standards and patient trust. As part of its efforts, Do No Harm conducts investigations into how diversity, equity, and inclusion policies shape medical school admissions and curricula. And they publish rankings to inform students, patients, and policymakers while pressing public institutions to uphold standards of excellence and objectivity. Their rankings provide aspiring medical students with the resources they need to better weigh their options for medical school and provide patients with greater transparency when they're selecting their doctors. The Do No Harm mission is to protect healthcare's integrity by promoting objective, evidence-based, evidence-driven medicine that prioritizes patient well-being and ensures care remains focused on healing rather than political or ideological agendas. We're joined tonight by Do No Harm's chairman, Dr. Stanley Goldfarb.
Well, thank you very much. I feel like I come home when I come to the Heritage Foundation. It's so wonderful to be in a room filled with people that share the values that you heard earlier. The Heritage Foundation has been really critical for us, and I think just as an aside, the sessions that it holds each year about gender ideology, bringing together people from many multiple viewpoints about this has been really incredibly valuable. So I want to thank them very much, and obviously for this award. The second group of people I'd like to thank are the team at Do No Harm. This project was the brainchild of Ian Kingsbury, our Director of Research. Our Executive Director, Christina Rasmussen, is here. She is the brains and the brawn behind our organization. And lastly, I would just like to thank the wonderful donors of the conservative movement. We wouldn't be anywhere without them. And so many philanthropists have stepped up to support us, including this wonderful grant from the Heritage Foundation. And I think we're really lucky to be in a conservative world where people value such critical issues, as you've heard from our organization, from the wonderful organizations that you'll hear from in the next few minutes. So thank you again so much.
Thank you, Dr. Goldfarb. We're pleased next to recognize Families Empowered and its project, Empowering Texas Parents to Navigate School Choice, with an Innovation Prize and $100,000. Families Empowered helps Texas parents control their children's education by offering free, bilingual, personalized support. In the wake of the new Education Savings Account legislation, and great victory there, Families Empowered is providing accurate, actionable information to help families effectively navigate the educational options available to them. Families Empowered equips parents with practical tools tailored to their values and priorities, recognizing that every child learns differently. And they're guided by direct parent feedback so that its support reflects real needs across the Texas communities. Regardless of background or income, Families Empowered is committed to helping families make informed decisions to find the right school for their children. We're joined tonight by Colleen Dipple, founder and CEO of Families Empowered.
On behalf of my board, my staff, and the thousands of families you'll impact, I want to just thank the Heritage Foundation for this incredible opportunity. At Families Empowered, we believe in the primacy of parents. We trust parents to make decisions that are in the best interest of their children. We know and believe that parents love their children, and that when parents are provided with the opportunity to choose an educational option that is best for them, they make great decisions. We provide parents with free service as they find schools that are a right fit for them academically and align with their family values. This grant will allow us to expand our service as Texas implements one of the largest ESA programs in the country. So thank you very, very much.
Next, we're excited to award an Innovation Prize and $50,000 to Lifewise Academy in recognition of its program Empowering Parental Choice through Release Time Religious Instruction. Lifewise Academy provides gospel-centered Bible education to public school students through programs that facilitate spiritual growth. In response to rising youth anxiety, depression, and declining biblical literacy, the Lifewise Academy offers a faith-based alternative focused on scripture, character, and hope. Lifewise partners with local churches and communities to deliver impactful teaching, and through initiatives like Empowering Parental Choice through Release Time Education Instruction, religious instruction, the Academy enables parents to choose Bible-based character education for their children during the school day. Its mission is to transform the hearts and minds through the truth of God's Word, equipping the next generation to live with purpose and conviction in a culture disconnected from biblical truth. We're pleased to be joined by Derek Stimmen, Vice President of Lifewise Academy.
On behalf of Lifewise Academy, I want to extend our heartfelt thanks to the Heritage Foundation for your incredible support. Decades ago, religious education was systematically removed from our public schools, and thanks to the Heritage Foundation, we're able to help communities bring it back. We provide Bible education to public school students during school hours, thanks to a little-known Supreme Court ruling, and we created a plug-and-play model to do this, and now in just a few years, nearly 1,000 communities across 33 states have decided to implement a program, and we're seeing incredible results as attendance is up in school districts that implement our programming. They're seeing decreases in school and out-of-school suspensions, but most importantly, students and families' lives are being transformed by the hope of Jesus Christ. We want to thank the Heritage Foundation for standing with us in this vital mission. Together, we're restoring truth, hope, and purpose to the next generation. Thank you.
Next, we're excited to recognize Napa Legal Institute with an Innovation Prize and $50,000 for their Faith and Freedom Index. Napa Legal Institute looks to secure religious liberty proactively by equipping faith-based nonprofits with the legal and governance tools to operate effectively and faithfully in a challenging regulatory environment. Napa Legal's expertise lies in nonprofit law, religious liberty, and public policy, helping religious organizations protect their missions while remaining compliant. Their Faith and Freedom Index measures how supportive each state is towards religious freedom and the regulatory flexibility for faith-based nonprofits. The project also provides model legislation to state lawmakers seeking to strengthen protections for religious organizations. Their mission is clear: to empower faith-based organizations to serve legally and confidently in defense of their convictions and the common good. We're joined by Mary Margaret Bush, Executive Director of the Napa Legal Foundation.
On behalf of our entire team at Napa Legal, I'm honored and excited to accept this Innovation Prize. As conservatives and people of faith, we know that virtue-forming institutions are the cornerstones of freedom in our country. Yet the majority of states have laws that burden and hinder rather than facilitate and encourage the flourishing of these institutions. Our Faith and Freedom Index tells this story and identifies concrete areas of action for state lawmakers and advocates. We're honored to have the support of the Heritage Foundation in this project, which we believe will change our country for the better. It's particularly poignant for our team to accept this award from the Heritage Foundation, as we in our careers have benefited so much from the formation we've received here. I would like to recognize our co-founders, John Pfeiffer and Tim Bush, for their generosity and vision, which has made this project a reality. And I'd like to recognize in particular my colleagues Frank DeVito and Joseph Clement for their tireless teamwork on this project. We're so grateful to the Heritage Foundation and look forward to partnering for many years to come. Thank you.
Next up, we're proud to award an Innovation Prize and $75,000 to the National Center for Sexual Exploitation for their project, Reclaiming Our Children's Innocence from Big Tech. The National Center on Sexual Exploitation seeks to confront and dismantle the systems that fuel sexual abuse and exploitation in all forms. Through a multidisciplinary approach that includes research, litigation, corporate advocacy, and public policy, the National Center exposes the interconnected nature of sex trafficking, pornography, prostitution, and child sexual abuse. Their project, Reclaiming Our Children's Innocence from Big Tech, protects minors from unregulated exposure to pornography and holds technology companies accountable for practices that exploit children. The National Center has decades of experience fighting for a world where every person can live free from sexual exploitation by defending the vulnerable, holding exploiters accountable, and driving cultural and legal change to end commodification of the human body. We're joined tonight by Christian Price, Senior Legal Counsel of the National Center for Sexual Exploitation.
Thank you so much, Heritage Foundation. I'm very honored to receive the Heritage Foundation's Innovation Award on behalf of the National Center. We believe in a world free from sexual abuse and exploitation. However, we unfortunately live in a world where our children are faced with constant threats to their safety online, from easy access to harmful pornography, to predators seeking to groom them for sexual exploitation. Big tech and pornography tube sites help to facilitate these abuses, largely with impunity. The courts have incorrectly interpreted laws to give digital platforms immunity for liability. We are advocating for reform, for tech platforms to design their products with safety in mind, for survivors to be able to have their day in court, and for our country's elected leaders to find legislative solutions to hold big tech accountable. Together, we can build a safer online world for children, and we are so grateful, Heritage Foundation, for your support. Thank you.
Next, we're pleased to award an Innovation Prize and $100,000 to State Armor and their initiative, Break the United Front. The Chinese Communist Party has successfully infiltrated and undermined American institutions through its United Front strategy, a program that assaults and undermines our democratic values under the auspices of legitimate commercial, academic, and civil society activities. State Armor empowers states to confront global security threats head-on by providing the policy tools they need to enact strong state-level legislation. In a time of international risk, State Armor strengthens America's security by turning state governments into active defenders of our national interests, ensuring that threats abroad are met with action at home. Tonight, we're joined by Michael Lucci, CEO of State Armor.
Thank you first to the Heritage Foundation for recognizing this very real problem that is spoken about too little within the United States. And thank you also to Jacqueline Deal, who's here in the crowd, who I remember 4 months ago, we were writing this proposal and we actually said, hey, if this all works out, they might deputize us in the Texas Rangers to execute what we have proposed here. And that joke is actually coming very close to becoming true. And I'll explain how that happened. A couple of months ago, a professor named Anne-Marie Brady visited Austin, Texas. We had a long chat. She said, the United Front is China's #1 weapon against the United States. China recognizes America as their #1 enemy. And she said, essentially nobody in the United States studies the United Front. That's what she studies in New Zealand. She's attacked for doing so. Since this proposal, we've received 3 in-person interactions that had the flags of foreign intelligence operations. I think at least one of them was. But also since writing this proposal, 3 laws have been enacted in the state of Texas. 1, a foreign agent registration law. 2, a law to crush transnational repression. And 3, and most specific to this proposal, the DPS, Texas DPS, perhaps the Rangers, created a hostile foreign entities unit in the Department of Public Safety. And in that law, they specifically say that this is to counter the United Front operations within the state of Texas. So with that, again, I would like to thank Heritage Foundation for seeing the value of this, the support, but seeing the value of this unique proposal. And again, for Dr. Deal for supporting this work to counter the United Front, to crush and break the United Front. Thank you.
Michael literally walked off the plane and into the auditorium, so thank you for making it in from Austin. We're excited now to award Them Before Us and its Children's Rights Database with an Innovation Prize and $100,000. Them Before Us is a global movement dedicated to defending a child's right to be known and loved by their mother and father. In a culture that prioritizes adult desires, Them Before Us directs the conversation to the needs of children in matters of marriage, family, and policy. Through public education, international advocacy, and policy engagement, Them Before Us ensures children's rights are upheld in both a cultural and legal context. As part of this mission, they're developing a children's rights database which equips citizens, legislators, and policy advocates with the necessary information to defend both born and preborn children from unjust, adult-centered agendas. Them Before Us exists to build a global coalition that puts children before adults at home, in law, and in public discourse. We're joined tonight by Josh Wood, Executive Director of Them Before Us.
On behalf of them before us, we want to thank Heritage for this incredible honor and the investment in our mission. I don't need to tell you all here that we live in a time when the desires of adults often take precedent over the rights of children. From surrogacy laws, divorce laws, changing parentage laws, children are increasingly treated as accessories, when in fact they are persons with rights. Among those, the right to be known, loved, and raised by their mother and father. That's why this prize means so much to us. It recognizes a new tool that we're building, the brainchild of our engagement director, Patient Sunny, who is here today. A state-by-state database that exposes how these laws across all 50 states are impacting children and gives citizens and state lawmakers the tools to do something about it. We will make it impossible to ignore what's best for the child in every policy conversation about family. Thank you for affirming that children are not afterthoughts in the legal system. They are our starting point. They are our future. We're honored to carry forward this work with your support.
And our final award for this evening is to Wired Human with an Innovation Prize and $50,000 for their project, Childhood is Not for Sale. Wired Human confronts digital exploitation by equipping youth to fight against online harm. Through education, advocacy, and public action, Wired Human exposes the damage caused by pornography, cyberbullying, and unethical tech. They train young people to understand the risks, to speak out, and to facilitate an online environment that respects human dignity. Their curriculum and public campaigns encourage the next generation to fight against digital abuse and demand accountability. Through initiatives like Childhood is Not for Sale, Wired Human protects children from digital exploitation and empowers youth as advocates for change via its Screen Safe Alliance. Wired Human brings youth to the front lines of change on Capitol Hill, in schools, and across the web. Tonight we're joined by Jason Frost, CEO of Wired Human.
Thank you. I just come here just with incredible gratefulness because I am just a bit of a visionary, but I have an incredible board. My wife, Lisa Frost, who is an incredible implementer, and an amazing youth coalition who has courage to step out and speak the truth. And I love the saying, when the truth is set free, it really does defend itself. I have a few of the youth with us today. Could you guys all stand up really quick? Reagan, Atik. They're doing incredible work, and we are just so grateful. Sun Tzu wrote that when troops are cut off from command on the front lines, that's the book, The Art of War, confusion, fear, and anxiety follow. That's what's happening to our youth. In an AI-powered addictive social media market, the connection between their hearts and minds are being severed. Wired Human exists to restore that inner line of communication. We start and end with youth because we believe they are not just affected, they are the greatest untapped force of change. At our recent DC roundtable on child online safety in the US Capitol in February, a sixth grader named Piper stood before national leaders, including the First Lady of Virginia, and said, if we want to make a difference, you have to be willing to do it differently. Wired Human is different, and radically so, because we trust youth where most systems dismiss them, and that trust is being honored. Youth voices have been invited to speak at the White House, on Capitol Hill, and in national news outlets in front of over 2 million viewers. That trust has moved the hearts of leaders in closed doors meetings in the West Wing. It is echoed in Congress, and it has reached millions through different media outlets. It's not my voice, but it's the young voices that are rising up to say, if nobody else is going to do it, we'll step up to the plate. We'll take the hits for the next generation. We'll look at those young people and say, we stood up we made the change that needed to be done to see a safer and more prosperable future. And I just want to say this and end with this, that I am so grateful for Heritage Foundation for stepping up with us and choosing to be different with us in this time and era that we live on with AI-powered social media. And we are just at the thumbnail of what the problem is going to become. And I can't think of a greater platform and a more courageous group of leaders within this room that we can step out and do it with. Thank you.
I want to say thanks to all of the 2025 Innovation Prize winners, and thank you to the Heritage Foundation supporters who've made this program possible. Now it's my pleasure to call up to the stage my colleague, Andy Olivastro, Chief Advancement Officer of the Heritage Foundation. Andy.
Thank you very much, Bridget. I don't know what's more daunting, to be the one called up to follow all of those wonderful remarks that were shared, or to be the one called up who did not receive an innovation prize. And so here I stand empty-handed. But we had a great conversation over here at the table. Charles and Samuel and I were talking. Charles and Samuel waved to the room here. We were trying to come up with what's the best innovation quote, and I limited our conversation to last names that start with T. And so I won't tell you which one came up with which quote, but the first quote was from Mark Twain. And he said that a person with a new idea is a crank until that idea succeeds. And so it's wonderful to see all of these smiling faces, because we don't have a room of cranks. We are on the way to success. The other quote was from President Donald Trump, who recently said, "We are a nation where we need a leadership that is bold, dynamic, relentless, and fearless." Bold, dynamic, relentless, and fearless. And that's what I hear in all of these award recipients tonight. And so it is our pleasure to host you here and to recognize what you're doing. So let's give them all another round of applause. You know, what we did, we're so fortunate to be able to host all of you here. We're so fortunate to have the resources to offer the innovation prizes, to have Bridget's and Derek's leadership as we go through this process, and to have Kevin Roberts' leadership, who when he came here said, what good is an endowment? What good is resources if you lose a country? And we refuse to lose a country. And so that's why we are on offense every day. And if you think about innovation in practice, it's about people and ideas and action. It's about people. That's why we do what we do, to improve lives. And it's about ideas. It's about that spark, that solution, something new, something needed. It's very exciting. And then if you think about putting it into action, all of you have raised your hands. You've said, I want this responsibility. I have something I want to bring to shape the marketplace, to shape ideas. And so we're just thrilled to be a part of that with you, to share that opportunity with you, and to celebrate all of you. And we would like to continue to celebrate with all of you by going upstairs to the rooftop. And so please, another round of applause, and then join us on the rooftop right outside these doors. And congratulations to all the winners.